Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Wise Women Forward. Today we have a wonderful guest. Her name is Kelly Slattery, and she's a Canadian songwriter, producer, and social entrepreneur whose career spans entertainment and philanthropy. There's so much to talk about. She has written for Lionsgate, CBS, and Disney, produced films premiering at Toronto International Film Festival, and developed TV projects for ABC and Legendary Pictures as a founding member of Therapy Content. In 2021, Kelly shifted into social impact and she launched a brand called Barely Canadian, a clothing brand that supports and employs foster youth, partnering with major organizations like the LA Lakers and Neiman Marcus. And in 2023, she founded Power Ladies, a global community now spanning over 1,000 women across North America and Europe. Welcome, Kelly. Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh,
So,
thanks for having me.
I wanted to go right into, if you don't mind, right into Barely Canadian. Because, first of all, if I understand correctly, you have adopted a foster child, your daughter, yes? And did you adopt a second one? Do you have two foster children or?
We actually fostered and adopted four children. So we
Wow.
fostered three, adopted one, tried to adopt our son twice, and paid the attorney's fees, had it set up. But we met our son when he was 17, and so it's a big thing for him, and so it wasn't comfortable for him in the end, and that's absolutely fine. But yeah, we actually fostered teenagers from foster care. And so we are now 6 months into being empty nesters, and it's a very different life for my husband and I and the dogs.
Wow, that's amazing. So, what came first? Did you start fostering, and because of it, it had you create Barely Canadian?
Well, it's funny because when I first met my husband on our very first date, and I said, "Yeah, I actually want to adopt from foster care," and he said, "So do I." His mom had been in foster care. So, my husband and I met. We got married 34 days later. We're coming up on our 11th wedding anniversary next week. And so once we kind of met, and I decided to make some changes in my life, and I really just wanted to be of service. And I had come from entertainment, and as fun as that is, I really needed that shift. And so we decided to foster and adopt as we had. And about, I would say then 4 years in, because I also went into the nonprofit space, but it was, I had this idea for super soft sweaters that were summer sweaters because I'm freezing all the time. So my husband likes to say, "You're barely Canadian. You no longer qualify. You can't manage a California summer," which is how the name came about. So I thought, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to show our kids that I have no idea what I'm doing. I can't sew. I can barely write my name legibly, but somehow I created the logo and, then sent it off to somebody, on Upwork or Fiverr. So kind of showing them there's no barrier to entry with any idea that you have. So, it kind of, I feel like all of it started the first day I met my husband because we decided to embark on this together way back when.
Oh, that's amazing. That is so beautiful. And what had you think about fostering, um, like adopting from foster?
What did I think like the experience
Like,
was going?
why did you want to? Like,
Oh, we
your husband,
definitely.
his mom had been in foster care, but what motivated you?
I have volunteered with foster youth for decades. And so, in fact, one of my best friends, she has a nonprofit that I was working with. And so I just had always, wanted to service that community. In actual fact, how I met Sissy, we call each other Sissy, how I met her is because I wanted to start a nonprofit for foster youth that had aged out. When I first moved to America, I just thought, gosh, they talk that family's everything. Family's everything. But like, is that what people are all experiencing? And kids that don't have family, how does that make them feel? So I thought, why don't we have kind of a home base, a nonprofit that's a home base where you would welcome the child in for Christmas, Thanksgiving, whatever you celebrate. and be there when they are trying to figure out what school to go to or buying their first car, those big moments, you know? So there was no commitment other than allowing this person in your home, and I couldn't get it going. This is like 2 decades ago. And somebody said, you know what? My friend deals with foster youth. She has a beautiful nonprofit and is in great support of them. Why don't you participate there? So I'd always worked with and volunteered with nonprofits that and kids themselves. So I understand, you know, the need, and I think it's just important for everybody to be surrounded by love, and often these children are not. And then when you look at the stats of our unhoused, you know, over 50% come from care, 82% of our prison system come from foster care. So we need to do better. We're all each other's children, right? We need to do better to help one another.
That's amazing. So first of all, I, I'm so inspired by that. And it's one of the things. So we have a daughter and she's now soon to be 19. And we weren't able to have a second child. And I've always thought that there's more mothering in me.
Mm.
And I'm actually looking at working with foster youths, especially foster youths in real trouble, like people, foster youths who are trans and have a hard time getting the medication that they need, the care that they need, the understanding that they need. So yeah, I'm looking into that as well.
So I'd love to recommend KidSave, which is how we met our kids. And what you can do is you can, it's, I'll back up. I believe there's only 3 states now that allow you to meet the child before you adopt them. First, you have to match with them, and the system has to say so. But this is an organization where you just go and you meet the kids because you could mentor them as well. You don't have to adopt them. So they're not set up for feeling as though they were rejected, because these kids know when there's a match and they go to meet some potential parents and they don't take them home or nothing goes further than that, that they would feel the rejection. So KidSave is a beautiful organization, and you get to meet these kids and get to become friends with them and drive them to these events, and you can become a mentor. So I'd love to connect you with them if you're open to that.
Yes, absolutely.
They're,
Absolutely. That's awesome.
yeah, they're fabulous.
So obviously, you're a power lady. You have done so much in your career before, and then you went into the philanthropic space, but kind of the entrepreneurial philanthropic space, right? Because your clothing line, Barely Canadian, a certain amount of the proceeds go back to
Yeah.
supporting the foster system. Yes?
We give 20% back to foster youth organizations. Like, you know, we have a bunch of them, to be honest, that we give back to: Comfort Cases, A Sense of Home, you know, all like incredible. Kids Save. There's just a brilliant Cal Youth. There's so many incredible organizations. We also train and hire foster youth, which is a pretty big component for us as well, when we can have those relationships with those kids and just be there. You know, if they need something, you're there. And that gives them some footing as well. Yeah, and then for Power Ladies, you know, I started it in my garage 2.5 years ago. I reached out and just said, you know, we need to help each other, and we need to be we and not me. And women are really good at that. So why don't we help each other? Because, you know, men really do that all the time. Let us stack the deck with women, you know, let us do one email that can truly change somebody's entire life. You know, it's really simple. We all know somebody that somebody else doesn't know. We all know something that somebody else doesn't know. So let's be in support. And so yeah, the response was great. We did the first one in my garage, about 35, 40 women. And now we're this much larger organization, you know, 1,000+ women. We have chapters in London, Lisbon, Montreal, Toronto. We're launching New York and DC. We have San Diego, Sacramento, Phoenix. It's just been really fun, and it's been fun because we're all in it together. And our the goal of the group, it's not a networking group, right? So networking groups, people walk in, they feel they have to have really good posture, and they've got to be super professional, and they hand out their card and they're there for work. Our group is a community that helps one another in our personal and professional lives. So it's all about meeting authentically. And I think that women tend to not trust one another, and that's not our doing, but we are being puppeteered in a way. So why don't we get to know one another so that we do trust one another? And then we do stack the deck with women. And it doesn't mean we shouldn't, do the same for men, but let's have considerations for ourselves. Why can't we put on our own mask first, kind of thing?
Yeah.
Um, We've actually launched a male community called the Allies. We've had only two events, but that is more of a mission-based community because men need connection. Women know how to achieve it
Yeah.
much easier. It's more tangible for females, and men, there's a clear crisis of connection, and we're seeing men's suicide rates 4 times higher. We're seeing the creation of incels and a lot of addicts, and we need to help. We need to collectively be a community. So collectively, we are a community called the Power Allies, which is really fun. So it's just been really a gift, to be
Yeah.
able to build this community. Yeah,
That's awesome. Well, in the film that we made, we talk about how patriarchy, one of the ways that it stays in power is, and in the film we explain that patriarchy was really just, it came about from a misunderstanding about 10,000 years ago. So it's just now about righting that misunderstanding and coming up with something that is more balanced, et cetera, and thinks more of the community. But patriarchy kind of divides in order to categorize and be able to control.
hmm
And one of the things is women coming back together and talking and bringing their concerns together and freeing up their voices is the way that we can get more wise women into leadership and change things that are not working right now. Do you think that that's one of the things that you're working on doing with Power Ladies?
Absolutely. It is about, there's something really magical when anybody connects, but women are willing to be vulnerable. They're willing to be really honest. Sometimes to the detriment of ourselves, we tend to be diminutive in order to connect with people. So, but we're learning, at least we connect, right? But I think, I don't know if you've ever read The Red Tent, Anita Diamond, but it's beautiful. And women historically, like this is based in the book of Job, that time period, that women could only really assemble and connect when they were menstruating. And so, but I never thought I'd be so swooned by a book or anything even like biblically based, in a book, but it is one of the best books I've ever read.
I
And
did
it,
read it, and it
right?
is beautiful. Yeah. The beauty of coming together and
Yes.
supporting exactly in the time when things are ebbing and flowing.
Yeah, yeah. And it's interesting because, like, with females, there's a commonality. We are all females, in that experience. We're all going through this physical process, right? Whatever have you. But I think once you assemble as a community, right, and understand that there's a we there, then that begins to welcome in those that are other, be it males, be it what you know what I mean? Like we're all allowed to, like, I'm Canadian, so I grew up with all sorts of other. We're all other,
Yeah.
and we're all together as other. And but that's it. You know, so I was saying this morning with a friend at the gym. I have a new gym partner. I'm so excited.
Oh, that's
And
great.
yeah, yeah. No, I was so happy. But we go to a march, and let's say the march is for our gay community. And then we come back, and somebody in my gay community says, "Well, I don't like Latinos." Pardon? Then we go to Black Lives Matter, and my black friends say, "Well, I don't like the gays." I'm like, everybody's lost the plot. And I understand right now with what's happening politically, we don't we're not on an upswing as females. So we're trying to recalibrate and understand how we can support each other. And we can. And the beautiful thing about Power Ladies is that, like last night, two ladies, one DC, one Los Angeles, were in Phoenix together. They got together. Like they went and had dinner. You could be over, but if somebody needs help in another country or another state, we're all here. We want to help you. Our
Mm.
community is growing at an exponential rate. I mean, I think it was 2,740% growth since we started. It's just like because we want connection. Women want connection, and we don't want it to be about business. We want it to be about caring for each other, showing up for each other, getting back to things like, hey, can I pick you up at the airport? You're moving. Why don't I come over on Saturday and help set up your kitchen? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get back to caring about each other and showing up for each other.
I'm so in agreement of that. And one of the things that I remind people, because so, in our film, it's the science of the fact that going through menopause is this evolutionary adaptation that's very important, and that women kind of birth themselves into the wisdom and leadership part of themselves
Mm.
afterward, instead of how culture says that we're kind of only important in our fertility, in our reproductivity, which is so not so. Um,
Yes.
and quite often, in conversations, when I say matriarchy, people are like, oh, well, what, you're just going to get rid of the men and just put in the women? And it's the reminder that matriarchy is a different system. It's a system that thinks community first and our
Mhm.
future first,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And and it seems like in the work that you do, that's exactly what you're embodying. Because first of all, you're taking care of some of the children that have been forgotten, right?
Yeah.
And then in bringing women together, it's really that communal, that kind of come around the fire and let's talk about what's going on and what needs to be done.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I love that. That gave me a bit of a surge of delight, just the idea that because that we are doing something here. And I am the founder and I run it and it's like becoming so much more work because it's gotten so big and we launched our app and all of that. But the truth is, we all did this together. Like everybody in this group in the community, we did it together. Like, oh, this is great. I'm going to invite my friend. Awesome. That's how we grow. Women wanting to help women, and they like it so much and think this is a good experience where they feel safe and welcomed that they want somebody else to experience it. Well, that's beautiful. They're sharing something. And so it's just kind of grown so organically because we want to help each other. It's not just me that wants everybody to help everybody. Everybody's showing up because they want to help each other. In fact, that is our motto. How can I help you? Walk into the meeting with the intention of helping others. Don't come in with what you need, although we want to help you with what you need. But, make sure that your heart's in the right place because you're just going to feel so much more fulfilled when you do, inevitably, for a plethora of reasons.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah.
so our Substack is called Wise Women Forward because we're thinking forward. How do we move ourselves into the better next thing? So when I say Wise Women Forward to you, what does that make you think of?
I think that wise is a beautiful word that is underused. It is a deep word. It is a word that describes just a veteranship of living, a veteranship of experience. So to that, can you be wise at 5? Maybe in some ways, but the reverence for seniors, experience, those that have come before us, is one of the things that we're losing that we need to put at the forefront. So it says so many things to me. And then in way of women, well, gosh, I think that it's really important that that message keeps pushing through because I would have to say given what is happening politically, I feel like there are as many, maybe more, misogynistic females than there are males at this point. Like I know more women that believe that men should be leading and that they're incapable or there needs to be a man at the helm than the men that I know. I mean, my husband's like, "Are you serious? Get a woman in there." Like I think we need more wise women to bring us forward, quite honestly. So I think it's a beautiful summation of what is necessary right now.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah.
Kelly. So, to our listeners, definitely look up Barely Canadian. It's great stuff, and you're going to be happy wearing it, and you're going to be making people happy when you're buying it. And yeah, Kelly, I'm going to be at whatever next event, and I'm looking forward to the New York City one because I'm right outside of New York City, so I can be there in person. And next time I'm in LA, I hope to be there during a time that you're doing something.
Amazing. I'll connect you to the New York people.
Awesome.
It's just starting, and one of whom is a fantastic filmmaker.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
So,
That's really
yeah.
good.
Well, thank you so
Yay.
much for having me and even thinking to invite me. I really appreciate it. And yeah, and congrats on your film too.
Thank
Congrats.
you.
Good for you for doing the good work.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you.